Hi, and welcome to another Mystic Dude Diablo 4 video. So before I get started, just a couple of things to tick off. No, I've not done any videos for ages. I've just really not had any content worth doing it on, to be honest, for the stuff that I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4, and there's that many content creators out there. For anybody like myself, by the time I get around to it, it's already been killed to death about a million times. So I thought I'd do a video just to, you know, keep my channel up to date. So I'm going to cover a few things here, but mainly the build I'm doing. So this is a Barbarian build, and I'm currently at 135 Paragon. Sorry, 135 pits with it, and 271 Paragon. So as you can see, that's the character there. If you're wondering why it's got Japanese characters, it was just a thing I did. The characters actually stand for Kurenotsurugi, which means black sword, and it was just something I did after a couple of glasses of whiskey. The the black sword, sorry, dark blade, uh, or black sword. Basically, it's just a throwback to black swords and dark blades that you see in lots of other games like Dark Souls 3, I think it was, Blocks and stuff like that. Yu-Gi-Oh, you know. So it's just something that you always come across in a lot of games, either a black sword or a dark blade. So that's what it is. And to the guys who kicked me from a party finder because they said I wasn't an EU player, yeah, go fuck yourself. I just can't believe this happens in Diablo 4. So I've been kicked a few times with this character. I've never been kicked before, but I've been kicked a few times with this character just because of the name. But yeah, narrow-minded people, eh? So anyway, on to the game, and we'll just have a few uh, looks at a couple of things that I've been doing. So I hope you like the cosmetics that I've gone on. I think it looks really, really cool that. Uh, as you can see, I'm just spinning around there. So this is the build I'm doing. It's a barbarian, and it's an earthquake build. And th- it's I went blind with it up till about Paragon 200 or so, and then I started looking at a couple of guides. But I didn't take any particular guide. I looked at Max Roll uh, mainly, a couple of videos of Rob's, what he was doing with his barb, because he's pretty good on his barb. But I just went with what I enjoy. So I'm running Ground Stomp, Challenge and Shout, Warcry. I'm running Wrath. I leveled it uh, using Call of the Ancients, which was really good, and I just changed to Wrath for the extra damage later on. I'm running Bash just to get the overpower on the crits and the Armor of the Ancients. So I'll quickly show you my skill tree. There's nothing out of the ordinary here. I'm not going to post a build. You can just slow the video and pause it if you need to see it. So like I said, I'm running Bash uh, with enhanced and combat. Combat, as you say, if you strike 4 times, you get an overpower. And then on your Armor of the Ancients, if you overpower, you get 40% damage for 5 seconds. It can be a bit fickle to play. With all the buffs on the screen, it's hard to see when you've got 4. The best thing is to do is just always time it uh, to about 4 or 5 seconds, and make sure it's better to overdo it than underdo it. But yeah, it's not a big deal. So this is the skill tree I've gone with. Like you say, I'm running Ground Stomp. You don't really need this strategic on, but it just gives me an extra cooldown on my ultimate skill. You can actually save a point here. Uh, and I'll just mouse around stuff. The uh, the outburst and the bleeds and the tough of nails. It's just to for damage to bleeding and damage reduction. Challenge and shout, the damage reduction. that gives you life. And I haven't took a point here. I don't need the thorns, and I don't really need the fury because I've got it on one of my weapons for when I'm doing my general stuff, and I'll show you that in a minute. Warcry, I really should have another point in there, to be honest, for the damage bonus. I'll just go around it. I mean, I could take a point out of that for duration, and then put it into Warcry, and that gives me another 1.5% multiplier. I'll just mouse around these and you can see what I've done. Defensive stance that I've got, as you can see, 8-3, some from a gear. I'll show the gears in a minute. Heavy hitter, I'm at 15. There 12 from my gears. I did have 24 with another build, but yeah. Heal, I could probably take a point off that, to be honest. I don't need to heal for 9%. As you can see, there's a couple of points that you can play around with, and there's some that are set, more or less set in stone that you use. So that's this the skill tree. The Paragon, I'll just show you a quick look, and I'll just mouse over the legendaries. It's sort of like I've half copied Max Roll, as it was the one that uh, I took the same board combination of me, so it was just easy to copy most of what they've done. It's not identical, but I bet if I matched it up now, I bet it'd be 95% identical. So that's your starter board. Blood Rage here. As you can see, 1430% damage on Earthquakes. Decimator here. Weapons Master on that one. Again, like I say, I just mouse over them. Then if you want to sort of like scrutinise the board yourself, then it's a bit helpful to you. What's the other thing we need to look at? Witchcraft powers. These are all right. I leveled up using the Piranado, I don't know. And I changed to this later on cycle. So it just got annoying on the pit pushing with that stacking him up in the wrong place. You know, these are the ones I've got at the moment. And obviously, if we're looking at that, we need to look at my gems that I've got in. So on that one, I've got, or this particular build is the one I'm just using for sort of speed, a bit of extra speed for when I'm doing uh, just lower pits, horde invasions, undercities, stuff like that. So it's got quite a lot of movement speed if you watch me run along here, as you can see. So it just stops me being a bit of a slowpoke when I'm in groups with other people. I've got this weapon on with Fury on Kill, just helps me with faster content. And as you can see, I've got movement speed on there. I probably don't need the resist. Now I'm at 70% all over. That's without my essences. So that them two items are swappable. And when I do swap them, uh, I right. So it says I must have added a point. So what I'm going to do is, if it says that, it probably means you've added a point onto your build. So you want to save it before you swap. So these two builds are the same, even though they've got a different name. So if I load that build, as you can see, it puts this in. No, it doesn't put it in. Where's my? Let's get it out. Right, there we go. It's so easy to get everything mixed up here. No wonder I scrapped the stuff. So the three items that I've swapped out, and I better save that build. So let's save it. That's my main build. So as you can see, this one has crit strike damage on instead of Fury. The boots have +4 to Warcry. I need to treble roll that strength on them boots yet. So they're stronger. And the other one is the amulet. That's got a treble roll on strength with +3 to heavy handed and pit fighter. Quite a nice amulet that. And the other ones, as you can see, this has got Fury on kill. That's got the movement speed, needs re-rolling. And that amulet's got movement speed and attack speed on it, just to get the extra mobility. And I'll just quickly mouse over my items and you can see what I'm doing. A lot of them are only double rolled yet. I haven't. It's so expensive. I've gone through 120,000 obviously today, or the last couple of days, just rolling the swords. So that's the helm. That needs a re-roll. I don't need Prolific Fury. I could do to treble it. The cooldown on the Berserker, although I am managing alright, we double it. So, I could always have a single hit on aggressive resistance or whatever. That's my chest. That's the best one I've dropped. That needs probably a roll, but I could do with a treble hit on chance for earthquake. That's the gloves I'm wearing. Pretty good gloves, 300%. Treble hit on the crit strike. Doesn't really matter about the others. It'd be nice to have had a bit more attack speed. Unlucky hit isn't too bad, but yeah, whatever. Pants, main one on that was getting my main source of resist there. It was nice to get a GA on and resist. Let's have a look. Rings and that one there. And the grandfather. One GA I've made about 10, 12 now, and I can't get a double GA. It's just not dropping. It'd be nice to get a double GA with stats and damage, but at least I got one with stats, so small wins where you get them, and I've got a treble roll on it. The swords, treble GA on there. Damage is bad. It'd be better if it was crit damage, but yeah, it's not too bad. I managed to treble roll the heavy hitter today, and same on this one, treble rolled the heavy hitter, and that's only one GA, but yeah, it's still all right. So that's basically the build. Right, so here we are, just starting a 91 pit. I'm doing a low one, a lowish one, because just gives me a chance to show you how the build plays, and I'll show you what runes I've got in. So this one's pretty much straightforward. On your main weapon, Ignitech, so it stores your offering and it invokes your earthquakes. And this build, like I say, is one that blows your earthquake. So on this one, I've got the Frost Nova. That's sort of like what I copied from the max roll. Uh, it gives a bit of CC on the mobs, and it also applies a damage multiplier. I think 15% as well. Uh, so that's the runes that I'm running. So basically, if when you start with this, with the witch powers, you want to group up as many enemies as you can, and then it's a it's a skill. Now, if you can see now, I'll just move away. This is why I'm doing 91 down here we've got a buff counting down. Primary stat is increased duration, right? And the more enemies you hit, the higher it is. So as you can see, now it's 15. And providing you keep attacking, that will keep the timer resetting. And if you stop attacking, it'll stop. Also, as well, it puts your attack power up and your strength up. So as you can see, 6545. Yeah. And the more strength you've got, the more damage that your earthquakes do. Because if we look at the Paragon tree on which one is it? Uh, oh no, that's just purchased. Anyway, it's somewhere. But yeah, so you can keep this buff going up, and this buff you get from the one of the witch powers. Let's have a look. There we go. Soul Harvest. Whenever you use a cooldown, you get 1% primary core stat per surrounding enemy. So the more enemies you've got. Now it was bugged where it would snapshot, and basically whatever you got, it would stay out unless you let it cool down. Now that you can increase it, so at the moment it's on 6, as you can see. So if I get a bigger group now, I can increase it. So there we went to 10. So that's one of the mechanics that you look out for. The other mechanic is you can see a little fist pump on my toolbar here that says 2. So that is the one that I mentioned with the bash. So every time you use your bash and you get a crit, it'll go up. Now once it's at 4, you'll get an overpower on your next Hammer of the Ancient, and it'll blow everything up. So that's the other one you want to watch for. It's pretty difficult, and if your bar is full of buffs, your bar only holds so many buffs, so you might not see it. You might not think that you've got it. Another shitty game designed by Blizzard. So as you can see, I'm just going to one, two. That freeze now that they've got. That freeze is that rune. That was the combination. That mystical frost. So more or less, what you want to do on the rotation is when you go into enemies, hit your berserk and your shouts to get your damage up, and your stomp, as you can see, it not only gives you fury, but it'll help reset the timer on the berserk. So what you want to do is hit your berserk, and then find a load of enemies, and when we hit them, as you saw there, the uh, the berserk resets, so you can keep your berserk up more or less all the time. It does have a quick cooldown, the berserk, the actual buff, I mean, not the skill. The skill's a long cooldown, and I'll just mouse over it and show you. It's this one here, increased damage and movement speed. So that's your berserk buff. It's not really. They've got all these buffs in game, but it's fucking awful to try and. They're just there for sure. It's not like World of Warcraft where you can manage and play to your buffs and your cooldowns, which is a shame because it would be nice if you could, and it would be nice if you had a just throwing back to World of Warcraft with add-ons like ISUD and similar. I can't remember the rest of them, but yeah, the add-ons were great. It sort of added to the game. They were a big part of the game. So yeah, so keep your berserk up. try and manage your strength stacks. Keep attacking. That was a 91. Let's say easy pit just to show off. And I've got a lift on the go there. So then we made lifts at the moment. The ones we had red are the ones I'm using, as I showed you on the board before. And I've got some others leveled up just as backup. So that's the pit, sort of like demonstration in the pit. I'm not gonna put my stronger build on. It takes too long on a video. So let's see, what else do we need to show? Right, so before I forget everything else, this is pretty straightforward. I say pretty straightforward. For anybody with experience of barbs, yeah. But if you're new to the game, you've only come this season, you probably get fed up people saying, "Oh, it's easy, that it's straightforward," and it's good to be shown some of the basic stuff sometimes. So this two-handed axe expertise, yeah, it gives you the increased damage to vulnerable enemies. So that tends to be the one while we run that one. Uh, the other one is you could probably run that when you're leveling. Two-handed mace expertise gives you fury, bit of crit damage, but yeah, go with whatever you fancy. The followers, I've got Subo as the main one, and that's the tree we've got. Pretty straightforward. I think everybody runs this same tree. And when you're soloing, it shows all the enemies on the map. If the enemies disappear when you're partying and you're wondering where's all enemies gone off the minimap, that's the reason why, because you've gone in a party. Yeah. And the activation on it, the report, I've just got added to any skill uh, for this one. So this is right here. Is the support one, and as you can see here, cast when a player casts any skill in combat. So you can change that. So that bit basically is my barb. Uh, my next challenge is to get 140, which I think will be pretty tough. I'm not far off it. As you, I did I think I've done a 137. I think I did a 137 to unlock the 140. But I need to just min-max my gears a bit more just before I can do 140. I think if I can get a 140 off a barb this season, that'll be pretty good going. There's not a lot of people manage to do 140s with a barb. So yeah, other than changing my build to the all-out meta whirlwind, whatever build it is at the moment, which you know, I say this, I like to try and play my build and see what I can do with mine, and I'm doing all right. So if you've any questions, just hit me up below. If you're playing a barb yourself, let me know how you're getting on, what pitch you're up to. You know, the usual. Apologies again that I've not done any videos for ages, and I hope you enjoyed this one. And for now, Mystic Dude out.